real-time digital fashion. So, Roy, what are we looking at?
So what we have here is a Unreal Engine scene. We have a nice garment with some clothes simulation applied and a wonderful environment. At the moment, I'm just playing with some of the functionalities. So we have a game controller connected to the environment. So by pressing some buttons and playing around with the thumbstick, I can move the character, the invisible character, control the lighting, change cameras. Yeah, and Costas, I'm not sure if you'd like to speak a bit about the amazing environments and the garments that you provided.
Thanks, Roy. So, hi, everyone. My name is Kostas Kazantzis, and I'm working as a creative technologist at the Fashion Innovation Agency. For the project that Roy has already introduced, we decided to collaborate with one of our students here at the London College of Fashion. Her name is Ashwini Deshpande. Ashwini, for her final collection, decided to go purely digital. So all of the garments will be designed using Cloth 3D. And for this short demo that we're showcasing here, Ashwini shared with us 2 pieces of clothing, 2 garments, which you can see here at the demo. And then we were able to apply real-time cloth simulation on these actual garments from Ashwini. In terms of the environment, we decided to go with a photorealistic visual. So basically to experiment with a variety of different tools within the Unreal Engine 426. All of these tools were related to different parameters. So, for example, landscape creation, foliage, animation, high-quality photogrammetry assets, post-processing, but also lighting interactions. And to give some more details in regards to the different tools that I have been using to create this environment, first of all, the toolset that is offered by HTC is an amazing collection of tools that you can use basically to create landscapes and then sculpt terrain based on alpha brushes, etc. Then there was a lot of work was done using Quixel Megascans in order to basically use extremely photoreal and high quality assets, for example, trees and rocks within the environment. Then there was a bit of experimentation with some new features of Unreal Engine 426, such as volumetric clouds, and basically merging the volumetric clouds, which is kind of a physically based cloud rendering system with sky atmosphere and skylight effects to enable interactions and dynamic time of day setups within the environment. Some volumetric fog, and finally post-processing to make the scene more realistic.
So Costas, that's awesome. And kind of seeing the garments within a digital environment, particularly to that level of photorealism, looks really cool. But I think, Roy, if we talk about what actually is really different in this example is maybe when we start to move the garment itself.
Yes, we've been working on some of the cloth dynamics. So you can see the when the invisible character moves around, there's some cloth simulation happening. So the cloth feels like falling actually on a body, even if the body is not visible in this case. We also have some other features like the possibility to change dress. Everything is happening in real time, and trigger some animations using something like a game controller. So if I keep this press, we have some fun animations. And while I do that, I can keep changing garments.
It begins to imagine through so many different stages of how we begin to use storytelling throughout the fashion industry, from the creation to showcasing to ultimately how someone might see this in real time. But Sam, maybe we should talk about where this could be used, because I think that kind of creation element, we're seeing changes happening in real time, and that is the cloth moving in real time based on the input that the Roy is driving right now.
Yeah, I think there are so many applications for this type of technology that it's really exciting. I think if you think about all the way from the original design of the garment, being able to see your design in real time, being rendered on a virtual model, and seeing how the cloth hangs, how it moves on the model, is a brilliant way to start in 3D and develop from there. I think there's applications in the creation of content from as a studio ourselves, or as looking at virtual production for live or as live content. So thinking about things like fashion shows, being able to deliver that very, very quickly from concept to design to showcasing in a virtual world. Also, we talk a lot, we've spoken a lot, Matthew, about, how retail needs to become more experiential itself in terms of as a destination. And you can imagine this being rendered out into retail environments through AR and VR, but also on LED walls, so they can map to your body, map to your, the person and the shopper in store, all the way through to fully rendered, cloud rendered consumer experiences, video games, home try-ons at home, right the way from concept all the way through to the end user. There's so many applications of it, and that real-time element is what really makes it stand apart, I think.
We obviously worked together on kind of the virtual reality experience last year. But I think one of the things which I find really exciting about this potential application, maybe Roy, you could jump in on this, is that we could even imagine streaming this in real time to virtual reality headsets. Is that something which is kind of a possibility of where we could begin to test this next?
Oh, yes, that would be amazing. And we're doing some testing already. And recently, NVIDIA launched CloudXR that allows exactly to do what you mentioned. So you use remote resources to stream a high fidelity content, real-time content, to mobile devices or standalone headsets.
We're very lucky in the FIA team not just to have one model, but actually two. And Jade is, I think, also a model maybe you could talk to. Actually, that movement, and we've got some animations in there, but the idea that this is a different way to represent movement, and how could that impact on your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important for the fashion industry to see something that's quite familiar to them, like this environment. It could be seen as a more of a kind of fashion campaign that still has that element of the extraordinary, which Costas has kind of brought to life. But I do feel like, animation at the moment is still very game-like, and especially when you try to bring it to a fashion context, you do have that kind of generic catwalk walk, which is not always what fashion wants. Outside of runway, you have fashion campaigns and editorials and e-commerce. And, when I've modeled in the past for 11 years, they've asked me to do a variety of movements depending on what I'm wearing and what inspiration the designer had behind the garment. And they want to get it across in the way that you wear it. So, flicking between these outfits here that Roy can do, the avatar might want to move differently in a different type of way. I mean, we have him kind of dancing around. It's very, like we said, Sound of Music, or maybe Marc Jacobs' kind of Daisy campaign, where they're running through the fields. And I think it's good to kind of, just to explore that a bit more and push it and kind of take it away from that gaming element and bring it more into a fashion context.
I think the interesting bit is this kind of distributed collaboration. So being able to have a model in a motion capture suit in the studio, in our 5G connected studio or at home, but then also having on our LED stage, being able to view that real-time, ray-traced environment live and actually change that environment for the shoot, and then have somebody else maybe working from home on an iPad Pro, somebody else in a VR headset, somebody else on their machine in the studio next door, all collaborating on the same piece of content in real time, creating that and then being able to broadcast that and stream it live. That's a really exciting next step of this technology, I think. And it brings all the parts of the designer, it brings the model, it brings the studio, it brings the audience in, potentially being able to affect that environment in real time or respond in real time in a way that could affect that environment. So, we're seeing some interesting applications of similar technology. Balenciaga did that, the video game recently. But I think this then takes it to the next level of adding that real-time element of the cloth simulation to it.
So, Roy, if we wanted to change the environment now to begin to alter the lighting that we're seeing now, how easy would that be?
Just take the pressing of a button, for example. I can change the direction of the sun. So now you can see how the shadows start changing, but also the overall lighting as the scene gets darker. Let's get a bit closer to the garment. And another thing that the Costas mentioned about the environment that he provided is the implementation of one of the most recent features from Unreal, and that's the volumetric clouds. So you can actually see the light affecting the clouds in a very realistic way.
Yeah, that creative control is kind of crucial to the experience. And, like Roy said, to capture the impossible is one of those things that we're beginning to look at. What is campaign imagery within a virtual space? And Sam touched on kind of the immersion element that we already know from our work back with Fabric of Reality that people will spend longer within these environments. And Costas has created a huge area for people to explore. I think that sense of freedom to be able to go through and sense of discovery that is, we're told so often that the attention span of everybody is so short, but drop them into immersive experiences like that, and we know that dwell time is actually really huge.
I can't get over this can-can dancing in the middle of the field, sorry.
I think just touching on that, Matthew, speaking to a lot of the guests that we had who from the fashion industry in the Fabric of Reality, in VR, the thing that really left a lasting impression of them is that they really felt like they were there. And they really felt like because they could speak to other people and because they could meet the designers and meet the artists in that space, they forgot they were at home in VR and they really felt that they were there. And when they remembered it, they remembered as if they went to an event, not they watched a piece of content. So once you start to bring in a real, truly live nature to the content as well as the people you're sharing it with, that becomes genuinely compelling, even for people who perhaps are skeptical of immersive technologies and really yearn for going back to the live events.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we all yearn to go back to live events, but I think it's that demonstration of how digital can provide you something that is entirely different. And what you still get is that emotional reaction, that you have that wow moment when you're in these spaces, that you could even be here watching the sunset and seeing the light ripple over the environment there. And one of the things that within gaming, we have these experiences a lot, and they define how you feel about what you're going through. This is something that we can provide in real time.
Yeah, and I think that in some cases it also can elevate the physical, like the traditional fashion show, because as Roy mentioned before, like by working within game engines, we have the power to make the audience a very important part in the narration of the experience and basically create ways of interacting with the experience that are not even possible in the physical space. And also apart from the interactivity, there's also the accessibility, which makes a difference for me, that working within game engines, we can export the content in a variety of different types and formats, from AR experiences, virtual reality experiences, web-based interactive experiences, and whatever else. So basically, we have new ways of engaging with audiences, which are sometimes not even possible in the physical realm. And I think that makes a big difference.
I think what's great as well is you can see such a clear roadmap for it. One, in a production environment, being able to collaborate in real time and create content using this technology in real time. Then being able to deliver that in a kind of private network environment to a few select people, could be a fashion show, could be in a retail store or similar. And then being able to hand that off to a cloud-based service that's going out to, thousands or millions of people to experience that in real time. And that kind of three-stage process is really tangible now. It's achievable now. It's something that we can do, and we're really excited to work with some of our core clients through our 5G accelerator and for our business, our enterprise team, to some of our biggest kind of retail clients. So we're excited to work with you and those clients on this type of technology in the very, very near future.
We want to see more examples of fashion brands pushing boundaries. I really hope that as you begin to see the quality that's achievable with the engine, that we see many more brands taking a step towards creating this kind of experience, because let's face it, they're going to have to. The months ahead look challenging for physical events. So the opportunity to create amazing, awe-inspiring moments within a digital realm is really achievable.